Okay, so today we'll do one question, that is reviews of categories. I have already did the Postgres SQL method, but that method won't work in MySQL. So we'll write one query, that is recursive num n as. We'll make a table from 1 till select all, select n plus 1 from num where n is less than 15. We'll make table till 14. So we'll select substring index, and we'll do again substring index, categories, and we'll do this, and we'll replace with this within, and then we'll do again this, and we'll get the last word as category, and we'll sum review count as total count from Yelp business, inner join num on n is less than, character length categories length, and we'll replace categories and we'll group by category. Run this and we get this. So let's check. No, our output is not correct. Why is that? Let's check. Okay, we made one error. We have 2 plus 1 to get the number of words. Okay, so our output is correct. So I will explain this in the whiteboard, but what we did, we made one table from 1 to 14, then we did the substring. In this substring, all we did was, let me check the table and explain you, like it's automobile, and its substring, using the inner join we get, let's say character length of a is, character length is 17. By replacing it, character length, by replacing a, we get, replacing this, sorry, semicolon, we get the character length 16. By adding 1, we get 1. So in this case, when we do the calculation, we get the words 2. Okay, so 17 minus 16 is 1, plus 1 is equals to words are 2. Okay, so in this we get the word 2. So n1 and n2. So these n1 and n2 will be assigned to this and this, but using the subquery subindex, we get the, when the n is 1, we get the first one. So this is auto dealing, and since we are using the delimiter as semicolon, we are getting the last word, that is auto dealing. So we are getting this, but in this case we are getting automobile. And how we are getting the last word? By -1. So first we are selecting the subindex from the categories in n. So let's say the word was this, and then we select from the n, that is this. So we select this and we get the last word, and it's the last word of itself. And when the n is 2, we select both the words with the delimiter, and we select the last word, that is automobile. This is done for all the categories, and this is used in pandas also. It's called explode. So it's a very popular method and you can check it out. And this is for the table that we knew the categories. What if we don't know categories? We'll handle it by the JSON table. I will explain that in a bit, but first let me explain this question on a whiteboard so that it's much more clear. Okay, so now I will explain this query on a whiteboard. So in the first part, we did a recursive CTE. So we got the table from 1 till n less than 15, that is 14. And in the second part, using an example, in the first substring, we got till n. Let's say the n was 1, so we got auto dealing. And if it was n is equals to 2, then it would be auto dealing semicolon automobile. But you can imagine this as a list with the index 0 as auto dealing and index 1 as automobile. And in the second substring, since it is outside the first substring, so what we did, if n was 1, that is auto dealing, so we have only one thing in the list. So n minus 1 represents last word of the list, last index of the list. So we are taking the last thing from the list. So we only have one thing, that is automobile. So it becomes the last word. And then if we have n is equals to 2, then that would mean we are taking automotive as last word. And in the third one, we are doing one inner join, that is, let's say we take an example, this only, and its character length is 24. So what we do is, if the first character length is 24 and we don't have to use board mass, no, we have to use board mass, sorry, because in this I forgot to add one thing, that is bracket, this and this bracket. But in the query, it's not necessary that you add bracket because it will run fine. And in the second part, what we did, character length replace semicolon with hash. So it will remove this semicolon and it will combine these two words. So one space is less. And if we minus 24 from 23, we get 1 plus 1. So we get the n is less than or equals to 2. And here we have two words, auto dealing and automotive. So solving this equation, we get n less than 2. So like this, we get n is equals to 1, n is equals to 2. And combining this with the upper substring query, we get n is equals to 1 auto dealing, and with the substring outside the substring, so we get auto dealing, and in the n it is auto dealing comma automotive. So the last word was automotive. And likewise there will be many rows, so we have to use group to group the categories, and then we have to get the sum, because if we don't group them, it will exceed the n. I will also solve this question using a JSON table, so that right now we knew that there were 15 categories. You can use like distinct or unique to get this. But yes, if let's say we don't know how many categories are there, so we have to use a JSON table or something like that to identify how many tables are there and likewise do the operations. So these things will work together. So explaining this individually won't make any sense until you run the whole query and understand it step by step. So I have explained this and this, but you should have an intuition of how this and this are working together. And if it's working together, how is sum and group by is working together. So it's more of a intuition based question. because yes, it's a little complicated for me. I don't know if it's for you, depending on your level. But yes, I think the string operations are little difficult, and the inner join also. So yes, so I hope it was clear. I will also make a JSON table and show you. So yes, so now I will do the JSON part. Okay, so now we'll do the JSON table. That is, we sum the review count as total count, and we take the categories from the JSON table, and we make the JSON table by concatenating the table with the categories. What we do is that, let me explain with an example. So here is our example. So what we do is that we make one table like this, and this whole part will do this only. And the thing is, we did replace so that if there is any gap like this, it will remove that gap, and it will give us like this. And this symbolizes the expression path. And we have this column, and we make a category that contains character var with the path that was this as j, and we group by the categories, and we order by descending. So we'll run. So our output is here. Now we'll check what, wait a second. So we have category and total count, right? Now if I run, it is showing review count and category. So I think it's not updated in their backend. So I have showed you the solution. You can do this, and your answer will be correct if you don't know the number of categories. So I would suggest that you do JSON more than the recursive table, because it's much more precise for if for the categories. And yes, no, it's still not updated. So I hope this was clear. Thank you.